Hey everyone, this is Chad. Thanks for coming back to Record Wargaming. Today we have a match between Mitch and Karl. This is Mitch's first game of AOS. He's going to be bringing the Ogor Mawtribes. And Karl is bringing Nurgle. So it's going to be pretty awesome. But before we get into this, if you could like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, join the Horde, we'd appreciate that. And now, let's get into the show, folks. Here we go. Alright.
Tiny dice. Not taking any. I win. 3.
Alright. So, does that mean you start to set up first?
I believe so.
Alright.
Savage gains. The prime objectives. The objectives located on the border of each player's territory are prime objectives. Unless noted otherwise, prime objectives cannot be removed from the battlefield. For victory points, each player scores victory points at the end of their turns as follows. Score 1 victory point if you control the objective on the border of your territory. Score 2 victory points if you control an objective that is not on the border of either player's territory. And score 4 victory points if you control the objective on the border of your opponent's territory. Score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. Each player scores 3 points at the end of the battle if they completed their grand strategy. Battle length is 5 battle rounds. The player with the most victory points wins.
What page is that on?
Page 24.
We're back. And we've crossed the Rubicon from Warhammer 40k to Age of Sigmar. If you've all forgotten who the hell I am, I'm Mitch. And we're going to play some Ogor Mawtribes. And fully deployed on our army at around 980 points. We have the Meat Fist tribe going from left to right. We have our Behemoth. That is a beautiful Stonehorde beast riders fully kitted out. Going over here we have, of course, we must take the maw pot, for we must put more meat in the pot and feed the boys. We have our general, who is a firebelly, who is equipped with an arcane tome and is prepared with the fiery whirlwind spell. And in front of him is a Stonehorn, Stern Tusk, nope, Mournfang pack, just 2 boys. They are equipped, as you see here, with the flintlocks and the clubs and or prey cutters and the banner. These ones here with the horn and the clubs as well. We do have a Frost Saber pack sitting on the objective point. And then finally one more Mournfang pack with the Church, the Gargant Hackers. And that is the culmination of 980 points. I could not squeeze out 20 more points with the list, and let's hope my first encounter with the enemy goes well.
Hi, I'm Karl, and I'm playing Maggotkin of Nurgle. And right here I have a Great Unclean One with a Bile Blade and a Doomsday Bell. And then right here is my Feculent Narmal. And here are some Plague Bearers. They include a Banner Bearer and a Flute Player. And then over here are my Blight Kings. And they also have a Instrument Guy and a Banner Guy. These are Hosts of Nurglings. And this is a Beast of Nurgle that I'm going to use for summoning. These guys right now are in reserve. After the first movement phase, they come out of a terrain feature. At least 9 inches away from enemies.
Who gets to go first? Well, they don't have any ranged. We'll go second. Ogorkin of the Meat Fist Mawtribes will go second. We'll allow Nurgle, his pestilent peculiarities, to go first.
I rolled a 5, which is the Nauseous Revelation. Subtract 1 from charge rolls for enemy units that do not have the Nurgle keyword. Enemy units that do not have the Nurgle keyword cannot finish a pile and move closer to a friendly Nurgle unit than they were at the start of the move. So I move my army forward, I got the Mystic Shield and the Flaming Sword on my Grave and Clean one, and I'm controlling 2 objectives. And I just got 3 victory points.
Alright, here we go. Ogres, turn 1.
And it's been a very productive first turn for the Ogor Mawtribes of the Meaty Fists. So, coming over here from left to right, we moved and then charged. We laying waste to quite a few of our opponent's bigger, meatier boys. Had another squad charge and take the point, killing off 2 of the Nurgling pods, but sadly they regenerated their wounds in the battle shock phase. Firebelly has slightly shifted. We've moved up here. We haven't advanced. Our boys went and charged ahead to try and take him on and down. We did give him quite the beating, but the beating was returned in kind, especially when he can deal out disease-bearing mortal wounds of doom. And with that, now we could decide who gets turn 1 of Battle Round 2. Ooh. Tie.
So, hang on. So, in a tie, whoever went last. So, if you went last, then he automatically goes first.
Oh.
So.
Alright.
So, here we go for Nurgle, turn 2. Okay.
Rampant disease. Add 1 to disease rolls you make. So at the end of my turn here, I took this checkpoint and I took out some saber cats with my Grave and Clean one. I lost my Blight Kings and my Nurglings to the Mawtribes and gained 3 more points for victory.
If you want to explain real quick what the these contagion points are, or not contagion points, but
Excuse me. Yeah, so these are disease markers, and once a unit becomes diseased, it keeps 1 disease marker on it, and at the battle shock phase, I get to roll to see if I do any mortal wounds.
and right now you got that on 3 of his units, right?
Yes.
Very cool. All right, here we go. Ogres, turn 2.
Outside of 3, burn you in the shooting phase because he has a fire breath.
That would be cool.
All right, so we're actually going to record this part. Normally we don't record mid-turn, but this is kind of a big deal because if the Great Unclean one goes down, that's pretty much all she wrote for Nurgle. So we're recording this one. Well, let's have at her.
First off, from the one guy in the squad, because he's got the cutlery. 3's the hit.
That was a 6.
Alright. So 2 hit and a 3 to wound. And both wound with 6s. No rend.
Okay. 4 up save. Saved 1. How much damage?
2 damage. Whoa.
Took 1. Gave a disease.
Okay, that's important for them. Alright, 2 more. 1 hits. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that. And it does a rend of 1.
So 5 up save.
Saved.
Got it.
Okay, now time for the multitude of attacks. Because the stone chargers, tusks, and the meat fists do extra damage and extra dice.
On the charge.
Okay. Those are there, and now 3s. And that is 5 at rend 1.
5 up.
Damage 4.
Damage 4. So I will be rolling 8. And this could be the end.
No, 4 damage total. Not. Oh, no, boy, no. They're not that devastating. That's the one that's devastating on the charge. And that's 3 wounds.
He's a goner.
Does he explode? Do they explode?
No.
I don't know. I haven't killed a demon in a long time.
No, he doesn't explode. He just turns into a puddle of goo that does nothing.
We want to lay him down so we have any battle reports here.
He's not going to get banged up because it's a neoprene mat, so that's good.
And a silent tear was shed. Alright, now it's the Plaguebringers. Maybe they can get lucky and drag him down. Do they have any rend?
No.
How many wounds does he got on him?
He has 10 remaining.
10 remaining. Okay.
Can you bracket him to where his attacks change?
No, it should. I think you do.
All
of the monsters do have brackets.
Yes, he's still at his top bracket.
Okay.
So if they can get past his thick hide and shenaniganeries,
He'll definitely be able to get them all in there.
we'll count them all as in melee. Alright, so...
Doing a total of 11 attacks. The leader has an extra attack.
Let's go again! Let's go again!
Alright, 4s to hit. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 of them gave off disease.
Alright, so 4.
And now I need 3s. 2 of them went through, no rend.
Okay, 2 going through, no rend. 4 up. Both go through, and then I have a 5 up, feel no pain. And both go through.
Took 2 damage.
Okay, so knocking over the terrain here. He has now been bracketed. 1 less there. And yep. All that really changes. Okay. The riposte. First we're going to have the punching and kicking from the riders. Hang on a 4 up. Okay, they really did not like the fact that their beast got wounded. So that's 5 of the 6. And then another 4 up to wound. And that is 3 no rend.
3 no rend.
Yep.
Need some 6s. Blocked 1.
Damage 1.
So 2 damage, and they are 2 wounds apiece.
Okay. Rock hard horns. 4. And that is 4 of 4. Oh, dang it, I'm doing it again with the trees. And then 3 up to wound. And that is 4 at -2 rend.
So they go through.
Okay, that is a total of 12 damage.
Damage. So I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 of them went down.
Okay. And now for the number of the Crushing Hove attacks. 1 attack. I'm going to spend a reroll for it. 3 attacks. That's a little better. And 3 up to hit. Does not go through. And now a 3 up to wound because he's bracketed. 1 wound at rend 1.
How much damage is that?
Potential D3.
D3. They only have a 6-up save.
And damage is only 1.
Oh, they negated it.
Alright.
Dun dun dun. Battle shock.
They lost 5.
5.
Leadership is...
So the leadership is 10. So one could run away.
Yeah, on a roll of a 6. There we go.
Let's see what this disease stuff does.
Yeah.
So I'm still on 3 ups. So this is for your leader here. And it's 2.
Alright. 2 5 up. Feel no pains. 1 is saved. 1 goes through. Damage?
1.
Okay.
And for these fellas, 2, 3, 4, 5 3 ups. 4.
And that is just one guy that remains with 4 wounds, with 2 wounds remaining.
And then these fellas here, 2 of them.
He's got. We're just gonna cut up. And he is gone. Hold on.
But not forgotten.
Yes. Alright, and turn 2 has gone swimmingly in our favor. As you have seen, we are able to fell the great plague bringer of Nurgle. And we are able to take out 5 of the plague bearers of Nurgle. They were able to bracket our Stonehorn, and we lost another boy. He died, but is not forgotten. He will live on in our stomachs. And that is the end of turn 2.
Then I think we're going to call it there. So we will do a post game.
Good game, man.
Good game.
Good match. It was fun. A lot of differences from 40k. The melee one, especially the charging. And then you don't get to swing first with your whole army.
Right, you just get to swing first with a unit.
And I'm like, that's a lot more fair, you know? Because then there's a lot of assault in 40k that's a lot bigger.
Right.
But ogres, they're very thick and strong boys. They have... they move very quickly, the rider army. I'm pretty sure the other ogres are slow and ponderous and well fed.
Well, we'll find out, because like I said, I have them, so I will get them painted up now that you're going to be playing them. So, yeah, I'll start working on them.
Yeah, Nurgle's pretty slow. Like I said, almost every unit in Nurgle is a 4-inch move.
But it did take quite a bit to mow through them. The other guy, the knight,
The Blight Kings.
The Blight Kings, had I not thrown my behemoth into them and I just threw the behemoth into your Nurgle guy along with the other squad, they would have probably wrecked that line.
Yeah,
that side. They would have. The Mournfangs really wouldn't have stood a chance against all of them because they deal overall less damage.
And if I would have got to swing with all of them at once, that's 20 dice at 3 up, 1 rend.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So.
I chose the proper one to fight first at.
Yeah.
Woo! Though it did take the... I do like how, like, you had a big thing, I had a big thing, and then we had some smaller squads. Like, yes, I would have liked a little bit more on the more numerous side of things. Like, the first list that I put up was entirely infantry. There was no Mournfang cavalry. There was 2 sets of lead belchers that were just there for cannoneering.
Right, yeah, we were both playing pretty elite armies, so...
Yeah, and it's very interesting that, like, there's differences in 40k, and then just the stark differences, and then not everything has a gun.
Right.
Not everything has a gun. So it's like you can actually get into melee, get into combat, contest objectives, without having an entire unit just blown off the board because that one 10-man block of plague bearers or what have you for 40k just opened fire on them, and then, oh, well, that squad's gone. It didn't really do anything. It just died. But interested in doing more.
The only shooting I had was with my Great and Clean one, and it's only a 7-inch range. Because it's his bile, basically. It's about as far as he can vomit.
He's spitting.
Yeah. Just
like the fire belly. He will breathe fire at a guy because he ate a piece of magma.
Right.
And it was nice and quick. 1,000 points, nice, quick. It's a good entry game. Eventually we can start kicking it up a notch as I get a better handle on the differences.
Yeah.
My brain is, okay, we're going into the command phase. Movement phase, psychic phase.
Well, and I think it's hard when there's so many differences but also similarities, so you kind of fall back into what you know, but it's not exactly the same.
Like, you guys had to correct me a couple times, like, no, you don't get to swing with everything, you have to take turns. But I'm like, but that's not what? That's not fair. I want to swing with everything.
I think it makes for a lot more strategy, because you have to go, if I don't attack with him now, he might be gone.
Mm.
And stuff like that, versus, just walking in and feeling no danger at all.
Well, after the Blight Kings fell and that small little patch of Nurglings died, it was like, I know no fear as I walk through the valley of the death facing the demon and the unclean as I eat them. But then again, the Mournfang, they're expensive, and they have 6 wounds apiece for each of those riders, so these chunky boys.
Yeah.
And if, let's say, I had some more points and picked up a butcher instead of the frost sabers that died, like, they were the weakest thing in the army. They were just like, Beh!
Yeah, usually from what I've seen, frost sabers are for moving fast to get objectives while the rest of your army catches up.
The entire army moves fast, though. They're actually the slowest ones, because when the ogres are hungry, they get an extra 2 inches of movement.
Right.
So it's just, okay, that's 11 inches of move. Well, the dogs that were positioned closer and out farther away. How is this working? They're supposed to be faster. And since I play Total War Warhammer 3, I kind of know what each of the units does.
Sure.
But it's interesting playing with them on the tabletop rather than playing the computer in the battle phase, because entirely different interactions.
Yeah.
So if you bumped it up to 2K with Nurgle, what would you end up running?
I would be bringing a lot more Blight Kings, and I'm not sure. I'd definitely have some more heroes, though, to strengthen my guys up a little more.
So do you have another Great Unclean one, or Rodicus, or?
I do have Rodicus.
Oh, okay.
And I also have an Exalted Great Unclean one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the trifecta.
Yeah. I haven't ran all 3 of them yet, but I did run Rodicus and that Great Unclean one.
Okay. Well, maybe on the rematch, you think you'd be ready for a 2K?
Yeah, I'd have to look more over at the ogres, and we'd have to have a little more infantry, because I'd like to have a couple lead belchers.
Okay. Yeah, we can make that happen.
Because then I can bring like a tyrant, a butcher that can do healing magics and shit. So that they're not constantly dying to mortal wounds and plague and disease.
To heal some disease.
And it's like, no, go away.
Yeah.
Go away.
I like to think of it like your guys ate some of the Nurgle demons and they have gut rot.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Is they ate them, because when they're within 3 inches of the enemy, they're classified as eating. So they have a bonus to morale because they're eating meat.
And then if you're within 3 inches of me, you can get disease.
So they're eating the disease. It works together thematically speaking. Like, it's very fitting that my guys were just plague ridden for the entire turn.
Not like me when I eat sushi.
When I eat the sushi, I eat it too much.
Yeah.
And then I go
eat
hibachi.
Things. It does things. I like it, but it does things.
2 hours later, though, always hungry. Yeah. For me, like 2 hours later, I just ate like a shit ton of food. Why am I now hungry 2 hours later? what was the point? But yeah, it's definitely good. Definitely interesting jumping over the Rubicon into Age of Sigmar. I'm poking fun at GW because, frankly, going through the Rubicon is, damn it, it's crap story writing to sell more models. Better stories, please. You'll never hear this, and nobody will ever sit there and witness this. I know it, unless you're all paying way too much attention.
The Rubicon is, we don't want this model anymore. They died in surgery. We want to update this model. They made it through the Rubicon.
Pretty much.
That's kind of how it works from what I've seen.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not against a range refresh, but they didn't need to bring in the Primaris. They could have just been, Barasolli's Call. What's he been doing for the past 10,000 years? Making new armor and weapons for the Space Marines. Oh, and he happened to work with this Eldar Witch to bring back the Primarch Gilliman. And encased him in a revival suit so he doesn't die. Like, that's a hell of a lot better than, oh yes, I reinvented the Emperor's greatest work.
Except better than him, even though he's my, what do you mean, my god, right? Because they think he's the Omnissiah, right?
The Omnissiah, which is the voice of the machine god.
Yeah.
So they don't worship the Emperor, but they worship him because he's basically in the 40k universe for the machine god.
So let's back up a little bit, though. Do you think Sigmar is the Emperor? See, this is the conundrum.
He did make Sigmarines.
Now, yes and no.
See, this question has never really been answered.
Yes and no. Sigmar, being a perpetual, back in the fantasy realm on the other side of the warp.
He was once a man.
He was once a man, was a perpetual. He went into the Chaos Wastes, went through, passed into the realms of chaos. Passed through the realms of chaos onto Holy Terra. And thus then, oh look, what was he guided by? All the other shards of himself that were basically all collected there. So, he's Renald. He is Isha. He's the lady. He's basically the gods in fantasy are just a portion of him. And then he's gone through time. They've all collected on Terra. Shamans and whatnot do the sacrifice, and then he's fully spawned in as the Emperor.
And they're very similar of what they are, the Emperor and Sigmar are gods of, right? Because they're basically, one is the Emperor of mankind, but he's, what would you call it? Like, Sigmar is the god of, like, society, human society, and cities and towns.
And then you have the Elven gods, which persist. And the end times is basically, you could key it in at the same time as the old world is dying, the Cadia falling, if you really wanted to. To where it cracks and shatters, well, it just cracked and shattered where that was because the Emperor couldn't protect it anymore, couldn't protect his home dimension anymore. So it fell into pieces. Then, thus what we're fighting around here with.
Yeah.
Thus then leading to
the realms
time
actually look like small, they're little planets.
Yeah, they're little planets that are in the realms of chaos. Just minorly protected by the God Emperor and all of the elf gods that the elves spawned because of their belief into them. Then we talk about Slaanesh. Actually, no. Time shenanigans wise, the waking of Slaanesh in 40k spawned Slaanesh in the verse because Slaanesh is the youngest of the four major chaos gods.
In 40k.
In 40k, and
I believe
is still classified as the youngest in fantasy
I think
lore.
the rat is.
By the main four.
Oh, yeah.
The main four, Slaanesh is still the youngest. So, potentially, if we're theory crafting like the fall of, you could tie it with the shattering. The end times for fantasy was basically, if we're doing timeline-wise, the birth of Slaanesh. A large enough psychic just shockwave going through the warp.
Well, then, where did they had Slaanesh captured in between to
Webway shenanigans, future and past elves basically being like, screw you guys, you're not going anywhere. Run away! Because as the elves are apt to do.
So do you guys want to get any more about this particular game? Or you good?
It was interesting, and I waited more with a bated breath.
Right now. Do you want to mention anything about your stream?
Yes. So, for those of you that don't know, it's fair trying to be. I started streaming earlier this year. Really started getting active the past couple months. I stream Warhammer and a variety of other video games on Twitch. I'm Atlas Chief. That's Atlas_Chief, spelling the Greek Titan, and then like Chief for the it's the Redskin Chiefs. The Chief as in chieftain, as in leader, so on and so forth. So Atlas_Chief. And I stream Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And come around. Maybe you'll find something you like when I'm playing a random bit of games, which I have to get back to home today, because we are on a Monday. I have to put out my schedule for the week.
Right on. Thanks for coming, guys. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, join the horde, and we will see you in the next one.